Okay, I'm going to do something I don't do too often, and that's make a quick little video log about some paintball stuff. In this case, we're going to be talking about Shocker history, because I seem to be noticing an increasing number of posts on various internet forums about some of these older model Shockers, like this here 2002 model, which is the last model that they were made. And a lot of people weren't even playing paintball in 2002, so they don't need to know what this gun is or how it operates, anything like that. But there's a lot of people out there that have been playing for maybe 10 years or longer, and this was top of the line gun at the time. And they still have them, they still like them, they still use them, but information on them is dwindling, so they ask questions and nobody knows the answer. So I'm going to make this video to help clear some things up. This is all information I have on the website, zspv.com, various spots, but I'd like to go over it in verbal form just to help demonstrate some visual things at the same time. To start with, I've got this gun in my hand right now. This is a 1995 model Shocker. This was the first year that they were made, and this was actually the first electronic gun ever produced. It has two solenoids and is very large, as you can see. One of the reasons is because it had two solenoids. Battery compartment is in the body, making it even larger. It uses AA batteries. This gun is very large, very slow, 9 balls per second, outdated, very inefficient. Here's another one. Not mine, but it's a good example. Nice vintage anodizing job with the red and white splash. That's a solenoid. Really primitive electronics. Firing assembly not that good, like I said, slow and inefficient, but still works. Not many people use these old ones because they were replaced in the year 1997 by a new model, but these can still be seen today, and they're also good collector's items. Smart Parts was the one who sold these guns, but they did not make them. They were actually made by a company called New Ventures, which went out of business in 1997. This was shortly after them and Smart Parts split ways, went their separate ways, and started developing markers on their own. Smart Parts developed their own second generation Shocker, which came to be known as the Shocker Sport. Looks like this. This is a 2000 model, but basically the same thing. The 2000 models are a little bit different, but they're all a little bit upgraded from the older ones. These ones use really primitive electronics, really primitive solenoids. These ones use better solenoids, better firing assembly, better electronics, a little bit more efficient. They shoot 13 balls per second, which is incrementally faster. Still pretty slow and outdated to today's standards, but still a good gun. And in fact, this one is what I use in big games and scenario games myself. It's pretty nice. It's got a turbo board, and it's got fully auto and 3-shot and all that, which is kind of rare at the time, but good to have anyway. Now that I'm mentioning these old brick Shockers, here's a 2002 model I showed earlier. At the time that Smart Parts developed these, the company that previously manufactured the guns, New Ventures, developed their own model Shocker called the Warrior, and the name was later changed to Cyber 9000. Looks like this. There's only a handful of these in existence. This is a prototype. Very, very rare, very highly sought, because it's a first example of a lot of things. It has an LCD screen on the back. First marker with an LCD, first marker with a game timer, first marker with built-in dwell adjustment depending on firing speed, first marker with a lot of stuff. But this marker never got produced because the company went out of business, and as a result there's only 4 in existence, and here's one of them. I'm going to make a separate video on it because it's a little bit special in itself, but I just want to highlight some of the things. Same 9 balls per second, same really old solenoid and electronics from the previous Shockers, so it really wasn't that much of an upgrade. The Shocker Sport from Smart Parts is a much better gun than this one, but like I said, it never came out, so it doesn't really matter. Now, these Shocker Sports were around for 7 years, between 97 and 03. Or not 7 years, 5 years, obviously. So, 03 came around, they were finally phased out. The gun had become kind of outdated. It was being replaced by a lot of smaller guns that were open bolt and single solenoid, more efficient, faster, all that stuff. Smart Parts had their Impulse, which was a good example of that. And they redesigned it into this gun, which is a 2003 Shocker, re-anodized, but still 2003. Completely different firing assembly, although it does share a couple little tiny similarities between the old ones. But generally speaking, it's an entirely new gun. And this is a more modern gun. These have survived the years since 2003. This is an SFT, which they stopped making in, I think, 2006 or 07, something like that. Replaced by the NXTs, which are still made today. But generally speaking, pretty much the same gun as the NXTs. Very well-performing, and a lot of teams have used these, a lot of professionals and a lot of pretty much everybody else. Many of these have been produced, so it's a good modern gun. Here's another one. It's a green one. This is a nasty mo, but same gun basically, just different cosmetics. And these, like I said, are still around today. And Smart Parts will continue to make these at least into 2009. The gun is going to be released with a couple little tiny upgrades as stock parts, such as new electronics, and it'll have a new feed neck and things like that. I'm sure you'll read about those other places. And that brings us up to today's standards. Now, in terms of why you might want to know about these guns, I say, like I said, this is mine. I use it in big games around here. I love this gun. It's great to use as long as you have all-day air, because it's very accurate and it shoots 13 balls per second, so you don't need to worry about being dropped off and not being able to defend yourself someplace. It's got fully auto at 10 balls per second. That's okay. So if you're playing open play someplace and you don't have to worry about having the fastest gun out there shooting 1,000,000 balls per second and the lightest gun out there and all that stuff, then this is a good gun to have just to mess around with, just to keep available. I like them and I repair them, so I highly recommend them. But parts are not in complete availability for them. There's some things that you just can't get anymore. Some of the internals, you can have them custom made, but that'd be expensive. I don't personally offer that anymore just because it's so time consuming. But there are some things I do have in stock, a lot of parts guns lying around. So not everything is completely hard to find, but there's a couple things you wouldn't want to worry about finding in the future. Overall, it's pretty reliable, so you don't have to worry about that, but who knows. Either way, good gun to have. I recommend it if you have some spare cash. Turn some heads on the field instead of seeing other guns like Tippmans and Ions and things like that. Any questions, you can put them in the comments section, or email me, or check the site, or post in a forum, or any of the above, or all of the above, whatever. Like I said, I'm going to make another video for some specific models, so you can look forward to that a little bit later. But until then, thanks for watching.